Hey Film Hustlers, it's Mark Roberts. Just wanted to thank you for listening to the show and to remind you to share, to review, to rate, lay down a comment on Instagram. We would appreciate it. Also want to say that we had a great time doing the show this season. We did a short film that Tootie directed and wrote that Dave and I produced. Hopefully we'll be able to show that to you soon. I also want to thank our sponsor and our partner, ExtremeMusic.com, for always supporting us and making it possible for us to share our experiences as indie producers and film hustlers with you guys. We have a great guest on the show today, Richard Montoya, filmmaker, playwright, actor, producer, director. He does it all. Enjoy the show. You ready? All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Film Hustlers. We're here with the biggest film hustler of all, Richard Montoya.
Pow, 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 pow. What's the world coming to?
Now, you know, I don't have a paper to read the credits, but we gotta go way back. You look like you're 40, but seriously, you look young. Thank you very much.
Told you the same thing.
You're on a
today.
special diet or something.
No, I was in Mexico for a week, partying on. I just got
salt
back.
and sun.
Yeah, and tequila.
Tequila, yeah.
But you've been doing work for a lot of years. You made it when you were little, like mid-20s, early 30s, when you were on television with Culture Clash. Culture Clash made a huge splash. Like, you guys were the first Latinos to do, like, literally everything. Like, comedy troupe, getting on national television, being watched by millions of people. I mean, you guys were killing it. Like, tell me a little bit about the beginnings of your career. I mean, and you have a famous father who is no longer with us, R.I.P., who was a great poet. Everyone knew him. He was important to the movement, the whole thing. Tell me a little bit about the beginning.
Well, we had come from someplace, mainly San Francisco's Mission District, and that was the Culture Clash, the three guys, Herbert Siguenza, Rick Salinas, and myself.
Why'd you call it that?
You know, we're a complete tragedy of the 80s. That's such an 80s name, you know, Culture Clash, you know, and Culture Club, and Boy George tried to sue us later in life, and we happened to have, at that moment, a great lawyer named Nina Shaw, who's
she's still around.
Jamie Foxx's lawyer and Fishborn's. I mean, we just were lucky to have a great lawyer, and she was like, she wrote back to the Culture Club people that if anyone's mistaken Boy George for a Chicano satire group, then the world's going to hell. You know? That's funny. And we never heard from them again. You know, it's like, we're selling Culture Clash, you know. And but it was only because we did luck out and embark and stumble upon that early exposure in our mid-30s. Which is late already, but not late for Chicanos because we age a little bit differently, right? So I remember the first time, Mark, that we knew what a time slot was. We knew what ratings were. We hit a 7 o'clock on a Saturday right after Lucille Ball on Channel 11, wow. Fox-owned station group. And we got a 7 share, and that was bigger than Jeopardy on ABC. And we didn't know what the hell that meant. And all the technicians and showrunners were like, they were dumbstruck, like, guys, you have a show. You beat Jeopardy. That wouldn't last forever, but it sure shot us out of a rocket and pissed a lot of people off too at the same time. And I remember about 11 shows in, Rupert Murdoch's in our control room, you know. Nicest gentleman, unassuming, that guy from The Simpsons, but that's Rupert Murdoch, you know. And he's watching us as we have Dolores Huerta on, and Eddie Olmos, and Luis Valdez, and soon after that, we did about 30 shows and they yanked the plug. To this day, it's hard to find the tapes or get Fox to admit that they did this wildly Chicano, Latino, Salvadoran show. At the same time, Jeff Valdez was doing Comedy Compadres. At the same time, George Lopez hadn't quite shot off. I mean, literally, Mario Lopez is one of our first and biggest stars really at that time. And we had Mario on.
He was on it, right?
Mario came and did Word of the Day like a true champ, you know? And those kinds of things just shot us out there. And we hung on for 30 shows or a season and a half. 30 shows is interesting. Honeymooners was a max of 52 shows. So
wow. Why were people mad, though? What were people upset about?
George Lopez got pissed off, man. I don't know what the hell. You know, it's like Chicanos, it's like a game show. What's the pedo? Nobody remembers what the original pedo was. Maybe because you were good. Maybe because I should have been doing that. Yeah. Maybe because, you know, but no one's laughing at George Lopez now except the audience, you know. Yeah. So George is George is fine, and everyone's blowed up, but we still come from those humble playwriting roots, because when we got Culture Clash TV show, we already been a theater company for 15 years, so we every auditorium, every community center, every cafeteria, we played them, from the Gilroy Garlic Festival to the Lincoln Center or Kennedy Center, and we learned so much along that pathway. We'd been to a troupe for quite a while. And that sort of helped us get into that kind of myopic space of, I have a TV show and we have a writer's room. Let me tell you about our writer's room, man. Jimmy Fallon's sidekick, Higgins, Boys, and Gruber. Higgins was our head writer. He's one of the head writers on SNL to this day.
Yeah, he's genius.
Yeah, and he's Jimmy Fallon's right-hand guy. We had Seinfeld's best friend and Barry Martyr. These guys were geniuses, and we just caught them in a lull. And Lalo Alcaraz and Josefina Lopez, and we had some crazy-ass wild, drunkards we brought in that we thought could be good writers. And we had a lot of groundlings and Second City people that they were already pros, man, and they gave us that little edge, that sharpness that we needed to actually, how do you write a television sketch, And we're going to go back to those, Mark, because whether it's a documentary or whatever the case may be, those 30 shows are pretty damn good, and Fox won't admit they have them. We've tried legally to get them, and it was just an anomaly. It was something that they would never do again. House of Buggin' would last 6 episodes. We were on at the same time as In Living Color, and kind of matching them and sharing writers like Rick Nahara. But a lot of those early guys, the bigger stars, they were aware of us. They saw it. And I later would hook up with Leguizamo at Sundance Labs, and I told my writers to watch every damn episode of Culture Clash.
Clearly groundbreaking. I mean, do you think, like Hentified, we can't seem to get anything to stick? Mm-hmm. I mean, some things stick, but really, there's great shows that continuously get on television, last 2 seasons, or in your case, less than 2 seasons, and then they're gone. Should these networks be sticking with it a little bit longer? Should they be giving, what is the adjustment? Did they ever say, do something different?
I believe that Brian Graydon and some of the great guys that helped develop MTV that were our executives at that time, I think when we realized what we had, it was just a little tiny bit too late.
And you guys were ahead of the bar.
By the time Rupert Murdoch's standing in your control room, you're pretty much done, because he's seen firsthand what you're doing,
That's funny.
And that we got some crazy, we got, Cypress Hill doing Word of the Day. We've got Suicidal Tendencies doing Word. They're just going, what? You can't get Jimmy Smits every week, but we'd have Jimmy Smits too. They loved Mario, they loved Jimmy, they loved those guys, but we kind of had the other edge too. And then we'd have Gloria Molina and Dolores Huerta, and people would be like, what's the grape lady doing here? We literally heard that from our own producer, but you're stumbling through and you're not quite realizing what you have. And the thing is not to go through life hearkening back or being winsome and wanting all that back, but if you stick in it long enough, and you know this best, the chance, the door, the bus, the whatever may come back around. And when you come back around, and if you're sitting across the table from Kurt Sutter, as our friend Emilio Rivera does, and so Mayan's last 5 seasons, but you've got to have Kurt Sutter in your corner, then you've got those 5 seasons. But if you've got something new and out of the norm, like Hentified or Vida or something, it's going to be a struggle. Yeah. And you take your 20 to 30 episodes and
try to do something.
Take that, package that, repackage that. We're going to be selling ours late night television, because they do hold up, and they were some of the first truly cholo comedy, truly Chicano comedy, weird ass Central American comedy. And what would happen, Mark, is then we'd go back into our theater, and George Carlin would send a note backstage, and George would say, I was here tonight, Culture Clash. Keep kicking them in the cojones, love George.
Or Tom Hanks.
Handwritten note, Tom Hanks. But George's was interesting, because every time we didn't kick them in the cojones, every time we tried to play it safe, it was failure. Yeah, but when we were kicking them, that's when we had the best agencies. That's when we had, a lot of different things going on. And then, a career is a career. It ebbs and flows. And the thing is to get to the point where we are now, where we have diversified so much that that we can do many things. And I think that's one of the things we try to share with young people in the business. Like, look, I'm a playwright. I'm also a dad. I also write the occasional movie. You allowed me to direct a movie, which is why I'll always love you, and you left me alone. And you said you won't get this chance again. I didn't know what that meant, but now I do.
Right.
And I'm a guy that watches every Sopranos 50 times, especially the last season. And when Tony tells Christopher, you, whatever happens, Christopher, 100 years from now, they're not going to be talking about us, but they can watch your movie. Because Christopher makes a movie in the final season.
That's right. Yeah.
And I remember you telling me those very goddamn words. Like you have made a movie, and I'm like, and I can not hang it up like a trophy that you win in a high school football game and you're looking at it for the rest of your life. But like, you want to get back to that mark. You want to get back to telling stories because we are storytellers. We're passionate about them. And whether Hollywood is always will be sympathetic and produce you and give you carte blanche, that's likely not to happen. But we can find ways to skin that cat so that when the TV thing comes, when the opportunity comes to pitch, to look at executives and you tell them why your story needs to be told. I'm finding more and more right now that the executives are younger, they're more millennial, they're more diversified, and they will listen. We're not going into any pitch reading saying, do you remember Culture Clash on TV show? We're saying, here's what we think's happening right now, and here's our response to it. And you want to, rock and roll with this. So we just kind of finding those moments and those things. Because you told me the other day you should be in more rooms. I get in an occasional room, and when I get there, I just got to be more prepared than the next guy, like you guys do.
Well, that's for sure. I mean, before we fast forward, I just want to say, Culture Clash 40 years?
Yep.
Show's coming? When's the show happening and where?
Cinco de Mayo. We're going to do one in L.A. We're going to do one in San Francisco, Bay Area, Berkeley, where we're from. But we're going to... we're already booked into the Soroyan Theater. It's at Cal State Northridge. It's a 3,000 seater. It's a gorgeous state-of-the-art. System of a Down plays there. Lila Downs plays there. Big. And so we're going to see how many of our friends we can get, like Cheech, we'll beg. We'll beg Eddie. We'll send a Volkswagen for Mario. We'll go to Chula Vista if we have to.
But 40 years, congratulations! That's amazing, and you're all hilarious, and you're all pioneers. And
what lasts 4 years?
What does?
These days?
Yeah. No marriage.
My kid doesn't know what he watched 4 minutes ago on TikTok.
Exactly.
40 years. So it's a milestone. And like I say, Mark, we're celebrating it. We're not. There's not an executive in town that really cares about that. In fact, it's kind of goes the opposite way and works against you. But it's the people that do their research, and we just get those strange, wonderful calls like, look, I'm writing scripted television about the border, or I am wanting to talk about urban Latino issues, or what are you guys thinking about? So thank God, that stuff occasionally comes in.
No, that's exciting. I'm really proud of you guys. You guys are, like I said, pioneers. You guys definitely inspired a lot of the work that I do. But I'm really happy for you guys. I want to go see it. I was at the 25 year at UCLA.
That's right.
I was in the audience, and I think Carlos Mencia opened the show. I can't remember. Does that ring a bell?
Carlos, Zach De La Rocha. Carlos, man, he was always on the edge.
He's still struggling to keep himself, out of trouble, but he's being pretty honest. I follow him on Instagram, and
he came back. He came back with some heat.
He's back now. Yeah, and he's
he puts up his dukes, man, and he takes on big established comics, or they go back and forth. I was talking to a gentleman that's an artist named Chaz Bojorquez for another doc. Chaz did the lettering for This Fool. So those beautiful,
cool. Awesome, yeah.
And This Fool's a smart show. It's one of the miracles.
Yeah.
It's a Cholo show, so the writing has to be authentic.
We had Cholo Fit on here. We had him on the show.
And Chaz did the writing, and he's really close with Muggs and with B.
That's great.
And he's like, man, I was just because he did the lettering for their latest album. He goes, I was at the drop, man, the album drop, man. And he goes, man, we got so high. He goes, the gift bag. There's like about a $30,000 gift bag that you get from Cypress and Soul Assassins, and they own every business that's in your gift bag. See, that's a model. That's doing it, man.
Dave
That's
Lindgren.
Mac Daddy. That's Mac Daddy style,
Well, let's fast forward a little bit. You got in addition to working with Culture Clash and doing all the work you did, you're writing plays, you're in plays, you're acting in plays. You guys are doing shows, and you've been doing that consistently for your whole career, the first time I saw something you did, I went to the Mark Taper Forum. I didn't know you. I didn't know anybody in the troupe. I didn't know anyone in your show. I didn't know Emilio. But I went to see the show, and I fell in love with Water and Power, and I insisted on meeting you afterwards. It was funny because it was Patty Astor who invited me because I got the $10 ticket from her or something like that. She had like a free ticket or something. But I insisted on meeting you, and we met. And I said, I want to turn this into a feature. And you said, I'm already working with Gary Binko. He's going to turn it into a feature. And I think my exact words to you, because I'll never forget I said it. I said, when Gary fails, give me a call. and it's funny because I kept in touch with you. I kept asking every 6 months, like, hey, what's going on? Oh, no, well, labs or whatever it was. And then finally, I think a year later, you were like, hey, I think it's falling out. It's not going to happen. So if you want in, let's do it. So I was super excited, and we ended up working with Michelle Satter in Sundance, which was your contact. They loved you there. You had done amazing work at the labs, which few filmmakers get the opportunity to do. And we went to Michelle, and Michelle sat down, and I think 2 weeks later we were financed. I mean, there's much more of a story there, and I don't want to get into it because then it becomes all about me. But it was kind of a serendipitous, beautiful thing that we set up, and it was very quick. And Michelle Satter gave us the right people. Jim Flash, who funded the entire movie, rest in peace. He was a terrific dude, really behind the project, and it's a beautiful film. And I got to tell you, all of the work that you did as a writer, as a creator, all the script that you wrote that people knew about brought out such great actors, man. I was like I remember being on set one night. We're in the middle of East LA. There was a piece of meat hanging in the middle of a scene, and there's Clancy Brown.
Yeah.
Right? Nowhere to sit, no dressing room, in the middle of nowhere. It's midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. He's waiting to do his kick-ass scene, that the whole reason he took the movie, getting his $800 a week, And we had Roger Guinevere Smith, who, I mean, if you watch his scenes, like, they're classic, like the dialogue and
classic deep cover,
beautiful.
Classic deep Prince of New York. He comes from the Spike Lee school. He's baptized my children.
Who was his buddy? Who was his buddy that was in it? That was the other cop, the white guy.
Kirk Ward. Kirk is showrunner on John Wick shows right now. Like, everyone we touch
He's amazing.
Goes on without us.
Yeah, but
they're still your friends, and they don't forget you. And if you're lucky, you get moments like this in the hills of Hollywood. And you get to talk to people. So
Nick Gonzalez,
Enrique Murciano, who's on Bloodline. Last thing I saw Enrique on, good actors, man.
I mean, we had such fun. I mean, it was a very short shoot. We had our line producer was Lorenzo
5
O'Brien.
seasons on Narcos. Wanda de Jesus.
Yeah, Wanda de Jesus, amazing. Yeah, we had such great people.
Emilio Rivera, his wife. Those were. We had a deer. Got a stag card that night. With the highest paid actor on our set was a deer. And
it's in the trailer, and it's beautiful.
But let's go back to one thing that does focus on you. And I remember a lunch in Phoenix, Arizona, and I saw absolute gunslinger in you, because the guy was kind of hemming and hawing, the money guy, Jim.
200,000 he was in for. Yeah,
wonderful Jim. And you just looked at him, somewhere before dessert, and you said, Jim, you gotta finance the whole thing. And I didn't kick you on the table, but I kind of nudged, like, Mark. And your look to me was like, if you don't have something to say, don't open your mouth. And you told me that more than once, because artists always want to say something.
A lot of talk.
And you're like, no, it's time to say, Jim, you got to do this whole thing, or we're going to get up and, I don't even think there was Uber. We're going to walk back.
He was with Facebook when they started. He's the kind of guy that you could shake his hand and So what happened 6 weeks later? I needed him to come up with the rest of the money, and he did. And it was great because we needed no interruption to the production, because there was all these amazing actors and people and interest in the movie. It was a good time. We're shooting in the middle of, East Los Angeles, in the middle of the street, cop cars that weren't even ours. You're shooting the cop cars.
We had like a real gang from San Diego, my compadres, came to apparently run drugs in Downey for 2 weeks while they were here.
They were like, sure, we'll go.
Out of a hotel. They were totally making cash on the side, right? It was like Donnie Brasco. Did you get anything going in Miami? No, I thought we weren't supposed to talk about that. Like, what'd you have going in LA when you came? All kinds of stuff, right? And the meat the large side of beef hanging in a warehouse in downtown LA. That's where we had Clancy and a taco truck.
Yeah.
And a great cinematographer who, we lost this year, rest in peace, Cheo.
Oh, he passed away.
He passed
sorry
away.
to hear
Dude,
that.
I dreamt him the night before he died. I dreamt him. And it was like, he wasn't saying sorry, but he said, we did good, because he was a tough, dictatorial, old school, shot Pinero with Benjamin Bratt, shot a ton of stuff, but old school. Didn't want to hear about Steadicam in my thoughts. He was laying down tracks, and just a really old school.
You guys got a lot of stuff in a short period of time.
We got a lot of, dude, we shot in 13 nights.
That's crazy.
And we were shooting on 49th and Broadway downtown, and that hotel that had jacuzzis and cages in the real hotel.
Yeah, I remember
and there was
that.
a double homicide a block away. And you were like, we're never going to get helicopters this close and fire trucks. Let's go. We shot B-roll for 2 hours. and
They had shut down the street. They couldn't even get in to where we were.
And the fire trucks were engine 13. And everything in our movie was 13. And here comes fire trucks 13, like one after another. And we ended up with a rented cop car that was cop car number 13. And why is that?
Well, that was an amazing experience. We did do a deal through Sundance to Netflix. So we were on Netflix for 2 years, which was exciting. And the film is beautiful. If you haven't seen Water and Power, you can see it on all the streaming channels. You were in Nacho Libre, right?
Yeah.
You have a great part. There's memes out there all over the place of your character in Nacho Libre.
It's a cult classic,
right? You guys you got called up by Tom Hanks to be in his movie.
Yeah. Those are the lucky days,
Right? You guys performed at the Getty.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
Numerous times.
in the stadium, and got amazing reviews. And then we went on, and I tapped you for Almaraz, which ended up being a beautiful, beautiful story about a wonderful artist that everyone should see. It's on Netflix for 10 years, and we did the impossible.
Here we were, a film that got to go to every film festival we could get onto.
Did really well.
The art world loves it. We got voted #1 art doc in the art news world, which is a really huge, big deal.
And we premiered in 61 countries.
And we go back and watch it, and it's why Cheech Marin calls it a relentless documentary. And that's because of the relentless, restless energy. There's 60-70% of the film is what I really wanted to make. And when you're co-directing, you warned us against it. That's all you can really hope for. You got 50% of your vision in there, which is kind of remarkable anyway.
Yeah.
Because it was such a highly personal film for Elsa Flores Almaraz, widow of Carlos. It was a personal film because we both come from the Chicano art world. We know it. It's in our blood. Our family made their bones, helped to define that world. So we were walking into a powder keg. The Osco art people have been making their doc now with Costello, our great producer, Costello de la Rocha. And these things, they get top heavy. They're hard to lift off because they're so personal for everyone.
Yeah.
I want that documentary to succeed about Gronk and Harry Gamboa and Patsy Valdez, but they're in that place where we were, like, just trying to agree what is it? What is the film?
I mean, but if you watch Carlos Almaraz Playing with Fire, you will see something that there was arguments, there was bottles thrown, there was a lot of conflict in the production of that movie. It took 3 years to make, but had it not been for all of that creative energy going into it, I don't think it would have been what it was or what it is. And I also think that when you watch it, doesn't matter who you are. We did a documentary about someone that people didn't know very well. Mm-hmm. And when you watch it, you wish you knew him. Mm-hmm. And that's what I consistently get from people that watch it and had no idea who Carlos was. So if you haven't seen it, you should check it out because it is amazing.
To this end, there's a couple exciting things happening currently. I'm no dummy. I can't sit at home and write plays all day if they don't put food on the table.
What do you got going? What's going on?
Well, I just signed, very rare for a Chicano, to both sign an NDA and to understand what an NDA is.
I still don't know what an NDA is. I sign them all the
Because
time.
we like to cheese me out, man. It's like we put everything on Facebook.
Oh, you're Mexican, you got to sign
Hey,
this.
man, I think I'm going to get lucky with my old lady tonight. Like, why did you post that? I don't know. I was feeling lucky. But I got to the point, Mark, where I was in the most ridiculous pitch meetings where someone said to me, "We're not doing workplace zombie right now." workplace zombie. I'm like, wow. And then 5 zombie, programs.
Right, exactly.
With some of our good friends. But what they're not doing is Latino zombie. We're not doing Latino zombie right now. And I don't like to wear the woe is me, because we don't go through our life as victims. We're going through our life, with that little bit of swagger, but that knowledge that we have. So I'm not going to say, well, boo-hoo and Hollywood is not listening. It's like when they are listening, what is it that you want to say? Yeah. It takes one show to cause a ripple. It takes one Atlanta, one Empire, one This Fool, one of them to say, you know what? There's a bunch more where that came from.
Yeah.
And The Chi does it. The Wire does it. So it's comedy, and it might be uber Chicano or Cholo, but it also rings true and authentic and funny. Yeah. And I think that's still my roll of the dice is that still can count for something here.
Let's talk about this for a sec. What stories do we want to tell? Because at the end of the day, you, me, Davey, Dave, we all know, Mario, everybody, Benjamin Bratt, we all know that you have to go into a room and be better than the executive, right? They're not looking for you to give them something they like. They're looking for you to blow their mind all the time so that they can go to their boss and go like, wait a minute, I just got my mind blown. You wait till you hear what I'm about to tell you, right? And you tell a story in a very short period of time that they can then replicate. Because it's a game of telephone in show business, right? That's all it is. It's a game of telephone. I'm going to tell you, you're going to tell your boss, and maybe I'll get another meeting.
Game of phones.
Yeah. What do you feel is the missing element to the Latinos telling their stories on television and in film and it being successful all over the world? Netflix is releasing shit in 200 countries. 200 million people are watching each movie they release. How do we become part of the worldwide releases when we're telling stories that are so specific to our groups?
Well, you ask a universal important question.
That's a tough question, I know.
If I knew the answer, I might be sitting across town in Century City, but I'm doing pretty good right now. I'm at Access Hollywood.
Yeah, you are.
Pretty damn good.
Yeah, you are. That's the question we all need to answer, right?
And for me, where I'm sitting, Mark, a humble playwright from the East Side who tries to crack open every now and then. There's many ways to skin the cat, and I think one way to skin the cat is the story you tell about Frankie Quinones, just playing a teacher. My friend tried like hell to get me into Twilight. Went back for 3-4 times reading for the teacher in Twilight. Some other Latino got it, but Catherine Hardwick wanted a Latino not to be wearing a sign around their neck saying I'm Latino. It's a Washington high school that's set, right? But she got, directors, executives, the gatekeepers, we want them to buy into this idea that diversity. I was watching Bill Maher last season, and there was a panel of Anglo writers, and they were like, do ethnic writers make the writing rooms better? And they floated it out there with great doubt. Well, that's what they have to do because they were all white writers. But the Star Wars packages are excellent, man.
Yeah.
And they've got an array of diversity and ethnicities, and that's what makes them amazing because they're so rich. And no one's on Star Wars saying I'm playing a U.S. black person.
No.
But that Starfleet commander is a brother.
Yeah, I like that.
That sure is interesting, man. Yeah. And there's Jimmy Smits popping up, and there's Diego Luna, for God's sakes, with whatever accent. Well, the Mexico City Chilango accent, and man, that goosebumps over here because that makes it for some reason it's very compelling,
right?
And when he gets the Anglo Starfleet commander, you're pulling for it. Yeah. You're getting in there, brother. And the other way to skin the cat is just to go in there and say, we've got like an Atlanta type story or This Fool type story or The Chi, and it is culturally specific to this. And let me tell you why. And once we're in there, how we're going to make it relatable, and universal. So for Cholo vampires, it's a death to the battle with hipster zombies. And what's universal is the humor.
Yeah.
Like, you're on my street, is it?
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Your street.
Yeah,
I do land acknowledgements. You don't,
Yeah. I think you should be doing a movie a year. I think you should be doing more TV stuff. Like, are these things that you want to do?
They are. Recently, because we've still got a few friends in the town, right? We've still got a few teeth in our head, as John Huston says in Chinatown. But people are aware that we're there. Not everyone's 100% sure what we do all the time, but and particularly Well, Montoya made a movie. Seguenza's in Ben 10. These guys are interesting and weird, and they're an anomaly, and we're freaks of nature. We've been together 40 years. Cheech and Chong didn't even last 40 years. Los Lobos, I think, are at 50. You know, it's like, it's that club of people. But for the smart executive that does their research, sometimes it's led them back to our table, and that's the important email, the important game of phones, as you say. You know, that what you say in that moment and how you can help. So when I respond by an email to someone that is coming off of Handmaid's Tale, and they're coming off of big prestigious shows, and they want to do something set in the border, who the hell else are they going to really go to? I've lived in cartel country. That's where it's my bailiwick. That's the one thing I have in life, is that realness, that authenticity. You know, I don't have 5 homes, but I got 1 home.
A beautiful home,
and that's all I need. You know, my kids are healthy. My wife causes some problems at Costco, but I'm relatively okay. So when they do come, I want to say, look, there's gender issues going on at the border. Don't fall in love with all the police agencies, because I work with a lot of cops, and I always end up falling in love with the cops. You've really got to go on both sides. The border is full of kids from Afghanistan, full of kids from Haiti, full of white-looking folks from the Ukraine. You know, all of that truth has to come in, so that you're not just talking about gun runners, narcos, and cops. You're talking about the human toll. And by the way, our friends work on narcos, you know, and there's this intelligence that you need. So for me, Mark, it's about locking them in and responding on the page to them, so that my email almost becomes a piece of literature. Like, this dude is smart. Yeah. This guy is coming at us from different levels.
Well, people know that about you, and I think, I don't know, man. I think our world would benefit a lot from you being part of some of these rooms. I think that you ride the line in a way that is necessary for comedy and stories to be told. I think any room like CSI, I mean, I can name probably half the shows on TV that you would actually make better by the dialogue and the thoughts and the arguments that you would have. So I would love to see you do more work. I hope that happens. I don't know why it's not happening, but it would be awesome if it did.
Is someone going to explain to me who this handsome son of a bitch is?
This is Rod Tootie Rinks. He's our co-host. He just didn't make it.
Rod
He didn't make it. Here he is.
Co-host?
Yeah. I'm sorry. The host, creator. The creator.
Thank
The
you.
creator of the
Thank
show.
you.
Nice.
The inventor. This is Richard Montoya. Richard Montoya.
Mucho gusto, señor.
Good to meet you.
I'd like to know who I'm sitting around the card table with.
But we have to tip our hats to extrememusic.com, because they're our sponsor. They make it possible for us to speak to filmmakers and talk to them about what you're doing and what we're doing and how they can do better for themselves. But extrememusic.com for all your music needs. They're amazing. They put music in almost every movie I've ever done, except for Water and Power, because I didn't know them back then. But yeah, check them out. Just to wrap up, is there anything else you want to say?
We just have to permeate the culture. Like, when I look at Blue Beetle, when I look at, if I am really talking about Cholo vampires, I'm at Comic-Con. That's got me in Comic-Con, you know, and I got to be there. And that's where the marketplace is, to start, you know, ingratiating ourselves with that culture. That's the one true borderless, colorless world, because there's a lot of masks, right?
Yeah,
but I understand why Sons of Anarchy went there. So Sons of Anarchy, to Mayans and all of our buddies on Mayans, that's a legit phenomenon. That's 10 years worth of television.
I don't know if you know this or not, but, you know, you and I would go to Eddie Olmos's house, knock on the door, walk in with like a mic and a fucking computer, and he would record VO, never ask for a dollar. I'm talking about 4 or 5 times going to this guy's house. I was embarrassed. Like, I want you to know, people come out for you, dude. I think you need to remember who you are. Don't forget who you are. Don't forget who you are to the people that are out there working. They will come out for you, and you should keep asking them to do so, because I've asked Eddie to be on this podcast and he hasn't shown up, and I've asked to go do it at his house and he hasn't said yes. So you have power with the most powerful names of our generation and other generations, and you should lean into that as part of your superpower, because it's definitely there. You have it, and you need to keep at. That's how we do stuff. You have tons of people that surround you and want to be part of that. I think that you got to get out there with that, and you got to keep tapping it.
Thank you. It's hard to feel that when you're standing in line at the DMV at Montebello.
Dude,
and just one guy from way back on the other side of the counters That's Richard Montoya. That's the guy from Nacho Libre. And you go, excuse me, people, step aside. Step aside. I'm going to the front of the line.
Let him through.
And it happens every once in a while, but that's so nice to hear. You know, it's hard to remember that when you're fighting with your old lady in Bull Heights. Hey, man, that's the neighbor's dog.
Yeah.
You know?
You have a beautiful home, by the way. But,
It's a classic, man. And someone recently posted your high school '83 football.
I did. I posted my own picture.
That
in high
reminds
school.
us who we are. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
There we are.
That's
Got
who
an
I
afro,
was.
man, in '83.
Dude, I was proud of that picture. That stupid J.C. Penney's 3-piece suit that I'm wearing. Oh my god, it was like $59. But thanks for being on the show. Thanks for coming down. Yeah. Continue the good work, and let's do it again real soon.
Pleasure talking to you, Jim.
All right, guys.
I really appreciate the platform. Man.
See you next time on
Film Hustlers.
Film Hustlers. Thanks for showing up, Rod.
Hey, thanks a lot.
What a dick.
What a deal.